Darkness, not the quiet kind, but the kind that suffocates. Thick, heavy, filled with smoke so dense it steals the air from your lungs before you even realize what's happening. Somewhere below the surface, men are trapped. No light, no way out. Every breath, a countdown. And above ground, people are watching, waiting, hoping. But no one is going down, because to step into that darkness is to risk never coming back. Until someone does. Not because he was asked, not because he was expected to, but because he had already prepared for a moment like this, long before anyone else believed it would come. This is Forgotten Minds, where courage meets invention, and the people who save lives are sometimes the ones history refuses to fully see. He was born in 1877, in Paris, Kentucky in the United States, just over a decade after the end of slavery, a time when freedom had been declared, but equality had not. His parents had been enslaved, not a distant memory, a lived reality that shaped the world he was born into. Opportunity was limited. Education, even more so. He didn't have the privilege of formal schooling beyond the basics. But what he lacked in access, he made up for in awareness, observation, determination. At a young age, he left Kentucky, moved north, searching for something more. Opportunity, possibility, a chance to build a life beyond the limits placed on him. He arrived in Cleveland, Ohio, a city of industry, of movement, of change. And he started with what he could. Working as a sewing machine repairman, a job that required precision, understanding how things worked, how small mechanisms could create larger outcomes. And over time, that understanding grew, because he didn't just repair machines, he studied them, learned from them, imagined how they could be improved. And soon, he began inventing. Quietly, without formal training, without institutional support, just observation and persistence. His first success came from something unexpected: hair care. He developed a chemical solution that straightened hair more effectively than existing products. It became popular, profitable. For the first time, he had resources, a platform, a way to fund something bigger, because his mind wasn't limited to one idea. It moved, constantly, toward problems, toward solutions. And one of those problems was something people didn't fully think about, until it was too late. Smoke, fire, toxic air. Situations where breathing itself becomes impossible. He developed a device, simple in concept, but powerful in impact. A safety hood. A breathing apparatus that allowed people to survive in smoke-filled environments, to move where others couldn't, to rescue where others wouldn't. It was later known as the gas mask, but at the time, it was just another invention, another idea waiting to be tested. And then, the moment came. 1916. Cleveland. An explosion in a tunnel beneath Lake Erie. Workers trapped. Smoke filling the passage. Rescue teams unable to enter. Every attempt ending in failure, because the air itself had become the enemy. And that's when he stepped forward, with his device, with his preparation, with a willingness to go where others couldn't. He entered the tunnel, into the darkness, into the suffocating air, again and again, pulling men out, saving lives, risking his own with every step. By the time it was over, multiple lives had been saved because of him, because of something he had created, before anyone realized how necessary it would be. It should have been a moment of recognition, of honor, of widespread acknowledgement. And for a brief moment, it was. Newspapers reported the story. People spoke his name. But then, something shifted, because the world he lived in still saw him through a different lens, a limited one. Some publications left out his identity. Others used images of white men to represent the rescuer, because acknowledging the truth was uncomfortable, because giving full credit challenged the social order of the time. And so, even in heroism, he was partially erased, but he didn't stop, because his mind was already moving forward to another problem, one that affected everyday life: traffic. At the time, roads were chaotic. No standardized system, no clear signals, just confusion, danger, collisions. He saw it, understood it, and designed a solution: a traffic signal. Not just stop and go, but something more advanced. A third position, a warning, a pause between actions, a moment that prevented accidents before they happened. It became the foundation of the modern traffic light. Think about that. Every intersection, every controlled crossing, every moment where chaos is replaced by order traces back to an idea like his. And yet, once again, recognition didn't fully follow. He sold the patent, moved on, continued building, creating, living a life defined not by titles, but by impact. He became one of the first African-American entrepreneurs in his field, respected in his community, a symbol of what was possible. But still, operating within a world that didn't fully acknowledge his contributions, he faced discrimination, limitations, barriers that had nothing to do with ability, and everything to do with identity. But through it all, he continued. Because his work wasn't about recognition, it was about solving problems, saving lives, making the world just a little safer. He lived a long life, passed away in 1963, leaving behind inventions that continue to shape daily life, to protect, to guide, to save. But his name still isn't as widely known as it should be, and that raises a question. How many lives have been saved by someone we rarely talk about? How many everyday systems we rely on were created by minds history didn't fully credit? The man who stepped into the darkness, who breathed where others couldn't, who turned chaos into order, was more than an inventor. He was a quiet force, a problem solver in a world full of problems, a lifesaver in moments where life was slipping away. Even if the world didn't always see him clearly, his name was Garrett Morgan. And if this story made you think about the people behind the systems we depend on, then don't let it fade. Subscribe, so these stories continue to surface. Like the video, so more people can discover what history almost overlooked. And if you want to explore the truth behind his work, the references are waiting for you in the first pinned comment, just beneath the surface.